Coming up tonight on the news at 5.
Lucky because I don't drive and I'd have to have somebody try to get me down to where I could go.
A new effort to get the COVID-19 vaccine into the arms of the most vulnerable to the virus. Plus, a major newspaper is putting the spotlight on Montana's Golden Triangle.
From Montana's news leader, this is MTN News at 5.
Good Friday afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the news at 5. I'm Andy Curtis, and thanks for joining us. Governor Greg Gianforte says COVID-19 vaccination efforts are progressing across Montana, but the state is ready to give even more shots once the federal government increases the available supply. As of today, Gianforte said 73,000 vaccine doses have been administered and 14,000 Montanans have received both shots necessary to be fully immunized. The state has also moved into Phase 1B, which makes vaccines available to those 70 and older and people with underlying health conditions. But Gianforte said there's not enough supply yet for everyone in that group to get vaccinated as quickly as they would like. He said federal leaders have promised at least 13,000 new first doses each week, and they are hopeful that number will increase.
We want to do more, and we can do more. We are ready and prepared to administer more vaccinations. We just need more doses.
State leaders say all but one county in the state has wrapped up vaccinating frontline healthcare workers in Phase 1A and moved on to Phase 1B. And a new mobile vaccination effort in Lewis and Clark County is on to help vaccinate individuals that may have mobility or transportation challenges or live in rural communities. MTN's John Riley has more.
Lewis and Clark County officially launched their mobile COVID-19 vaccination initiative. On Friday, a multi-agency mobile clinic was at Eagles Manor to vaccinate qualifying Phase 1B individuals. Residents said it was a big benefit being able to receive the dose right where they live.
It is very, very much so. A lot of these people can't get around that easily, so it makes a big difference for them.
Very lucky because I don't drive and I'd have to have somebody try to get me down to where I could go.
The mobile clinics are currently closed point of distribution sites, meaning vaccination is not available to the public. The County COVID Task Force selected the initial sites based on the vulnerability and transportation difficulties of the residents. The mobile clinics are part of a multi-pronged approach to vaccine distribution in Lewis and Clark County. There will be more close point of distribution mobile clinics in partnership with other community organizations and rural parts of the county as vaccine supplies become available.
We've had a very limited supply of vaccine come into our county. We are hoping for more vaccine next week, and we will start to plan mobile clinics up in those communities, Lincoln, Augusta, for people 70 and older.
Right now, the biggest hurdle, according to the county, is the demand for the vaccine far outweighs the available supply. There is hope that that might change with President Biden's new vaccination plan, and more vaccines are currently in the process of getting approved, like Johnson & Johnson's, which only requires a single shot. However, that will still be months before those are fully implemented. Reporting in Helena, John Riley, MTN News.
Active cases of COVID-19 across the state continue to drop and sit just above 4,700. But 4 deaths have been reported since last night, raising that statewide total to 1,126. Active hospitalizations, though, sit just below 140. Now, it's important to remember that MTN uses a combination of state and local data to provide you with the most up-to-date numbers regarding COVID-19 across the states, and because of that, our numbers may differ from the states. And now with a look at our weekend forecast, Chief Meteorologist Cowboy Curtis.
Howdy, partners. How are y'all doing on this Friday afternoon? Well, let's take a look at the radar, and really not seeing much in the way. A little snow up here into the southern part of Saskatchewan, but a real pretty winter's day out there. And, you know, sometimes nothing is something. And looking at the weather alerts really across the state, not much going on. Yes, there is a special weather statement, but that's down south near Cody, just to the west of the Bighorn Mountains here. So let's take a look at the headlines here. Some cold air in the lungs. We'll talk about where the temperatures may get down below zero here over the next couple of nights. Let you know if we'll wrangle any snow anytime soon, and We need some of that moisture because it's drier than prairie coal out there. That's pretty dry. I'll have more of the full forecast coming up.
Montana lawmakers held a hearing today on a bill that would change the state's laws on how public employee unions collect dues. House Bill 168 is sponsored by Republican Representative Bill Mercer of Billings. It would require public employers to give employees a form each year asking them whether they are willing to waive their right not to participate in a union. Unless the employee signed that form, union dues couldn't be deducted from their paycheck. Now, Mercer said the change is needed to bring Montana in line with a 2018 U.S. Supreme Court decision which said public sector workers who choose not to join unions cannot be forced to pay dues. But the bill drew opposition from a number of union representatives who said it went farther than what is required by that decision and would interfere with the union's negotiations with employers.
When the United States Supreme Court is interpreting the United States Constitution and it makes a determination that in order to be constitutionally viable, a state or a local government must do something, that isn't advisory, that isn't best practices, that is a constitutional mandate.
By meddling in that collaborative relationship between the employer and employees in Section 5, this bill will create uncertainty for both sides, the employer and the employee, in every public workplace.
A similar bill has been introduced in the Senate. Senate Bill 89 hasn't had its first hearing scheduled yet. And Republicans on a Montana House committee this Friday approved another bill that places restrictions on transgender youth here in the state. Opponents of the bill are promising to file suit to undo it if it becomes law. The House Judiciary Committee voted 11-8 to send to the House floor a bill to prohibit sex change medical procedures or treatments for anyone under 18 here in Montana. On Thursday, all but one Republican on the same panel approved another bill that says transgender athletes cannot compete on school sports teams that do not align with their birth gender. The only GOP committee member opposing the bill was Representative Mallory Stormswold of Billings. Now, Caitlin Borgman of the ACLU Montana said Friday, if the bills become law, the ACLU will file suit to overturn what she called, quote, these discriminatory laws. The bills are expected to be on the House floor sometime this week. And Governor Greg Gianforte is staying in the governor's mansion for now, but he'll soon be vacating it for a private home in Helena during the building's renovation. Once renovation begins on the 61-year-old governor's mansion, which is 2 blocks east of the state capitol, Gianforte and his wife Susan will be moving to a home that they've bought on Helena's Upper West Side. Actual construction of the governor's mansion is set to begin this summer. It's more than a year-long project to update the building's plumbing, electrical system, roof, and other systems, and remove some asbestos. The 2019 legislature approved almost $2 million for the project, and it may take another $440,000 to complete. The new governor had nothing to do with the decision to update the governor's mansion, but he will have to vacate it until late 2022. The renovation project is expected to be completed by the start of the 2023 legislature. Montana's Golden Triangle, that is getting some big recognition tonight from a national newspaper. MTN's Coulter Onstadt tells us why it's a place you should love in 2021.
To some, the town of Big Sandy may not seem like much more than a couple of grain elevators along an empty stretch of highway in the middle of nowhere. But that middle of nowhere is actually what is known as Montana's Golden Triangle. And now, thanks to a description from a Big Sandy native, the New York Times is taking notice.
It's a big honor to be having some recognition.
I think it's very cool and probably deserving.
The New York Times recently published a list of 52 places around the world people should love in 2021, including Montana's Golden Triangle. The description submitted for the triangle specifically mentions Big Sandy. People around town say the town and the triangle definitely have a lot to love.
Everybody here is kind of all for each other. If you ever need any help, we're all for each other and we'll be there for each other.
The opportunities to float the river, see the scenery, the bear paws, even Fort Benton is destination where people like to see. I mean, there's a lot of history. It's
Visit Great Falls, Montana Tourism Executive Director Rebecca Ingham says this publicity is huge.
It's not paid media that we're pushing an agenda, and people are more likely to believe their peers than they are advertising. So it's a real great boost for this area.
Putting Montana's Golden Triangle on the map and hopefully in the hearts of many. In Big Sandy, Colter Anstad, MTN News.
Now, to see the full list of 52 places to love, click on the link in this story up on our website. And when we come back, Chief Meteorologist Curtis Grevenitz will have a complete check of your weekend forecast. And later, President Joe Biden turns his attention to signing some executive orders to expand food stamps and raise the minimum wage for federal workers. We've got the specifics coming up next.
Back there, partners, let's take a look at Great Falls, what's going on out there right now. 27 degrees, north wind at about 7 miles per hour. Nice to have light wind and mostly sunny skies, and a pretty day in Helena with the clouds clearing out. 28 degrees, and we likely could have some fog out in the Helena Valley here tonight. Elsewhere around the state, looking at temperatures into the 20s to about 30 degrees for the most part. Look at Livingston already down to 19 tonight. Will be a cold night. Last night was a pretty cold night where a lot of the state got down into the teens here and single digits. Great Falls was at about 8 degrees this morning, but nice light wind out there. Again, this is great after all of the wind that we've had for quite some time here. Feels like a windy couple of months, but on the radar, a little snow north of Glasgow, and if there's snow here this weekend, it may be a little north of Glasgow, up there closer to Opheim and east out through about the Scobie area here. All of the storm systems right now are tracking down to the south of Montana. Interstate 15 south through about Pocatello into Ogden and down around Salt Lake City, looking at some snow coming down here. California getting hit, and you know, we need some precipitation, but so do those folks down there in the southwestern part of the state. And elsewhere around the country, looking at just a little snow shower activity into the northeast part of the nation. But really nice to see that moisture down into the southwestern United States, where drought is exceptional. Global satellite, and for January and most of January up to this point, and a lot of December, we had the jet stream going off towards the north. Well, that has certainly changed. Temperatures have gotten colder here, but the storm track, where all the moisture is, following the jet stream now down off towards the south. You can see a couple pair of low pressures that will move to the south through California and all the way into parts of Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, and Colorado. Four corner states getting some of that moisture. So here's what will happen for Montana this weekend. Mainly clear skies here tonight, and for Saturday looking pretty nice. There will be an Arctic boundary just clipping the northeast part of Montana here tonight into tomorrow morning, and then lift north again on Sunday, which could produce a little in the way of some snow showers there. But otherwise, looking at pretty decent weekend with a fair amount of sunshine here. Heading into Monday, mostly cloudy skies, and look at that snow just kind of go all around Big Sky country here to the north, to our west. A little snow maybe down there, Beaverhead County, around West Yellowstone as well, and then also into the northwest part of the state here on Wednesday. Maybe a couple of snow showers and maybe a little period of snow up off of the Rocky Mountain front Wednesday night into Thursday. Snow looks like it moves into the state, but it kind of just skips our area here for the foreseeable future. So accumulation south, accumulation north, pretty much everywhere, with Montana kind of right in the bullseye of a dry stretch here all the way through next week. So look at that heavy snow down towards the south. Storm track, that's just the way it is right now. Another chilly night out there tonight. Single digits and teens for a lot of the state. Watch out for a little fog. Showdown maybe down to 1 below 0, but a little fog around the Helena area. And here is the forecast for your Saturday. How about that, boys and girls? A lot of sunshine here with chilly temperatures. Even Opheim only about 18 for the high. Places like Opheim could be down below 0 tomorrow night. 25, a lot of sunshine around Lewistown, and in the 20s, too near 30 degrees around Helena. Here's the 7-day forecast for Helena. All right, let's take a look-see, and there you can see the nice sunshine over the next couple of days. A little more in the way of cloud cover early next week, and maybe a snow shower, that at best on Thursday. Not looking at a lot of precipitation. And believe it or not, those temperatures, while not brutally cold, those numbers are below average here. And for Great Falls, mostly sunny this weekend. Looking at more in the way of cloud cover next week, and those temperatures stay a little on the chilly side.
Today, President Joe Biden signed executive orders to expand food stamps and raise the minimum wage for federal workers. He even has his administration prods Congress to pass a $1 trillion COVID relief bill. Alice Barr has the details from Capitol Hill.
President Biden today turning his attention to the pandemic's devastating economic toll.
Families are going hungry. People are at risk of being evicted. Job losses are mounting again.
The new president signing 2 executive orders to expand food assistance and address worker safety and move toward increasing federal workers' minimum wage to $15 an hour.
We must act decisively and boldly to grow the economy for all Americans.
President Biden using the actions as a bridge to the nearly $2 trillion rescue package he wants Congress to approve. That price tag, a bridge too far for many Republicans.
I don't think his bill's going to make it, but we need to do something.
Hopes for bipartisanship face a looming hurdle. Word today that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi will send the article of impeachment against former President Trump to the Senate on Monday, triggering the start of a trial as early as next week.
It will be a full trial. It will be a fair trial.
The Senate's top Republican accusing House Democrats of rushing the process.
The sequel cannot be an insufficient Senate process that denies former President Trump his due process.
The Biden administration hoping its urgent agenda won't be bogged down by the constitutional showdown. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Coming up next on the news at 5, we'll introduce you to a Great Falls High wrestling star that is looking to take the next step in his college career.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching MTN News at 5.
Welcome back, everybody. The majority of the roster for the Providence and MSU Northern wrestling teams are made up of Montana Prep stars. Tom Wiley has more on a former state champion at Great Falls High looking to take the next step in college.
There's no place MSU Northern senior Chase Short would rather be than on the mats.
So it's real nice getting back on the mat. This year's been real weird and everything's so spaced out, but Coach Thiebridge is always telling us you got to take it one day at a time, and basically you got to wrestle each day like it's your last. And
though the COVID-19 pandemic has disrupted much of his season, Short looks at the positives. An extra year of eligibility means an extra year with his teammates and more time to chase his goals.
This is my Last Dance documentary, part 1. I got a 2-part series coming out. So that's the way I look at it. This is part 1, and it's just the fine tuning, and it's the same as any other year. I'm still going out there and wrestling for 7 minutes, and I'm still coming to practice to get better. So
Short has been an integral part of the Lights program since he came to Northern after a state championship career at Great Falls High.
He's grown a lot confidence-wise. Confidence has improved tremendously. I'm going to keep circling back around to this. Sometimes tries to overthink things, but he'll correct himself a lot. So we're seeing big changes in that over the years.
And just like he did with the Bison, Short likes turning his matches into mandatory viewing. No matter the outcome, it's always exciting.
I just like going out there and moving my hands and feet. Sometimes forget how to wrestle, but if I move my hands and feet, I win matches, I guess, but I like having fun.
And after 2 trips to the NAIA National Tournament as a sophomore and junior, Short hopes to get 2 more cracks at an All-American finish.
I think those past tournaments, they're back then, and it's just on to this next one, you know. A new year, it's a new me, and I'm learning how to wrestle every day. So
Tom Wiley, MTN Sports.
Short is currently ranked 16th in the nation at 174 pounds. And we will wrap things up here when we come back, but first, here's a look at what's coming up tonight on the Nightly News.
When we welcome our West Coast viewers, how neighborhood pharmacies are stepping in to help the vaccination effort as supply shortages continue to frustrate many state officials. Also, the Summer Olympics. Japan insists the delayed 2020 games are still a go. But how would it all work? More ahead on Nightly News.
From Montana's news leader, You're watching MTN News at 5.
All right, welcome back, everybody, and I've got some good news for you. If you didn't win Wednesday's Powerball jackpot, there's always tonight some Mega Millions jackpot. The jackpot for this evening's drawing is nearly $1 billion. It has been months since there was a winner, but that doesn't mean the odds get any better. Your odds of matching all the numbers is still 1 in 302 million. Now, if you do win the jackpot and you choose a lump sum payment, you would get around $716 million. Not too bad. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here at 6.